I tell them straight, if it ain't about Jesus, it ain't fulfilling. Nah, I needed something that'll take the pain and kill it. Hey, yo.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Truth, and today we have another podcast episode. I'm super excited because the two gentlemen I will be bringing on here are guys that we always talk about, people in your lives that you have dynamic and growthful conversations with. These two gentlemen, they have these type of conversations with me, and I was like, you know what? Why not put this stuff on a podcast, on a platform where we can encourage you guys as well? So today we're going to be talking about a topic that's trending on all platforms. They not like us, but it ain't what y'all think. This is going to be a little bit different, but I think it's going to be fun. But before we do any of this, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. I would greatly appreciate that. If you're watching on any of the podcast platforms, make sure you guys subscribe and tap into that and don't miss any episode. Now, as I bring these two gentlemen into the stream, I'm going to do some introductions. To my, I guess this is to my right. If you're looking at this is JD, my boy JD.
Hello, how y'all doing?
All right, so and my man down below is my dog Anthony.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
All right, so these two gentlemen, their social media links and everything like that will be down in my description section, or if you're on the podcast, they will be linked below. So make sure you check them out. Great content from both of them as far as like spiritual and motivational encouragement. Now, today we're going to be having a conversation around the topic, they not like us. And we ain't talking about what his name? Who that sang that song? Kendrick Lamar, K-Dot. We ain't talking about K-Dot. We ain't talking about that. We're talking about it in the aspect of, as you guys know, that I'm a content creator and my platform is based on sneakers, right? And looking at that dynamic of somebody that buys shoes, you see the do-rag, you see the chain, you know, hey, it's easy for people to think, hey, who is this guy? You feel what I'm saying? Like, what does he sell? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you just never know. But when we're talking about they not like us, I'm talking about the aspect of being able to have hobbies, do things that you love in this world, but still being able to represent Christ and encourage people and live out the message that he has for you. So that's going to be the first topic that we talk about today. So if you guys listening and stuff like that, or if you are on YouTube, make sure you drop some comments down below. If you have any prayer requests on there, we would love to pray about that. So make sure, don't be bashful. Make sure you leave that down below. But let's go ahead and pop this off. So we're going to start with Anthony. Anthony, let's talk about some different times where people might have looked at you and said, you know what? That ain't the way a Christian's supposed to look. That ain't the way a Christian's supposed to act. That, you know, like, is that a normal saying? You know, is that something that we as Christians deal with?
Yeah, I think so. There's a perception that people have that, especially in the U.S., Christian is supposed to be more white, subscribe to a certain political view, subscribe to certain, I guess, habits and hobbies. It's okay to be a Christian as long as you like college football. But there's other sports and activities and hobbies. It's like, okay, styles of music. Well, I've always liked hip hop. And now there's some really, really good Christian hip hop that's out, and it hits. It hits just like the secular stuff do.
Absolutely.
You know, the beat drop, all of that sounds really, really good. And so there's been plenty of times where it's like, wait a minute, what are you doing? You know, you shouldn't be listening to that kind of music. Hey, this type of music is glorifying God, as opposed to the type of music, you know, you might be listening to the Eagles or the Rolling Stones or something else, and that stuff does not glorify God. But yet, because I'm listening to hip hop and you listen to maybe some classic rock, you automatically start judging me and looking down on me.
Yeah, I've literally had people comment on my videos and say, "Hey, you're a Christian. You can't listen to rap. Like you can't do that." And I'm like, hey, you know, and hey, my KD Twitter fingers be wanting to start to popping, bro. I be want to be like, hey, so okay, tell me what verse, what book, what, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
I keep my composure. I just kind of let it go, man. All right, JD, what about you, bro? Like, you know, I know you an athlete, so let's see what's going on with you, bro.
Let me make sure I clarify. Repeat the question
Mhm.
for me one more time, because you got a
So
poignant way of correcting with
yeah, so
somebody.
basically we're talking about a time where maybe somebody has looked at you and said, you know what, you're a Christian. That's not what Christian people are into. Christian people don't that they're not supposed to like those things or do those things.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. So I mean, right off the bat, I like bourbon. I like good bourbon. I like cigars. I like the combo. Does that mean I overindulge? No, definitely not. But I was out once a while ago. Obviously we're in Tampa, so cigar capital of everywhere, it seems like. But I had on a faith-based shirt. It was a Beacon Threads. I had on a Beacon Threads shirt. And
Mhm.
it said not luck, just God. Right. Granted, I was at a cigar establishment, just relaxing, cigar lounge. And you could tell the looks, right? You always feel the looks. But when someone walks up and they're like, "Hey, that's real faith or Christian like of you," and you're like, "What do you mean?" And well, you're a Christian. Why are you indulging in cigars and having a drink? I'm like, does that not mean am I not allowed to? Like, am I not allowed? I'm not down in a whole bottle and going on a rampage or something crazy. Just it's just that I think Anthony alluded to it, man. It's just those preconceived notions of what a Christian should be. And quite frankly, it's not what the masses think it is, right?
Yeah,
It doesn't look like, oh, I just carry around my Bible in my back pocket, or
yeah,
I'm just going to beat you upside the head with Bible verses. That's not the case. Like, it's not at all. And that doesn't mean that also I have to change. I'm not saying I don't have to change. You have to change walking this wall, 100%. Like, you got to. But does that mean I have to stop doing everything? No, it doesn't mean that. But you have to be more mindful of the situations you're putting yourself in and the things that you are doing, and making sure it's still aligned with what God has in store for you. So I don't want to go on a long monologue, but that's my, 2 cents on that subject.
so for the people that may be listening or that will be watching who are not they're not believers, but they're curious. You know what I'm saying? Like they're curious, and we've all been to that point. We all were not believers at some point, and we were curious. We were trying to find our way. We were trying to figure it out. And there were things that we were doing as non-believers that when we became believers and we start to know who Christ is and build a relationship with him, that we stopped doing because of our new beliefs in him, right?
Yeah.
So for those people that are not believers and they may be listening right now and they're kind of apprehensive about jumping into being a Christian because of letting go of something that they really, really like, but they know it doesn't align with Christ, which is the toughest thing for me. That was tough for me. It was some things that listen, sin. Let me tell you about sin. Sin gives you everything that you want in that moment, that you think you want in that moment, and you don't want to let it go because you get used to living a certain type of way. But for those people that's listening right now, what would you say to them that would encourage them to say, you know what, it's okay to let go because what God has for you here is abundantly better. What if we're having a conversation with those people, what would we say to them?
Anthony, I don't want to. Well, I,
Go for it. You want it first?
I mean, it's crazy because I mean, we all were in that position at one point in time, right? But I was doing some reading. What was it? 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9. My grace is all you need, for my power is the greatest when you are weak. Right? When you think about that, you're gonna need a whole lot of grace when you start in this walk. Right? You're
What?
gonna need a whole lot. Not saying that you're not going to continue. I need a whole lot of grace now. I've been walking this walk for a while,
Me too.
right? But especially initially, you need a whole lot of grace because we all have been there. Discover the word, get entrenched in the word, get baptized, we're fired up, boom, we get punched in the face. or whether it be we sin, or whether it be we fall short or something, and do this, that, and the third, you're going to fail just like in everything, right? You're going to fail. The difference now with failure is that I know that God has me covered 100% of the times, right? I know that I am covered 100% of the times. Does that mean that I willfully go out and seek out things that are not what are meant for me under his provision? No, I don't. But I'm not scared to fail, right? I'm not scared to I'm not scared to tiptoe to the line. Like my youngest daughter, she gonna put a toe on the line, right? I'm not scared to put a toe on the line if it is for the glory of God.
Yeah.
I will put a toe on the line. I'm gonna tell the truth. Everybody around me, look, that's a great example. Everybody around me know I can't lie to save my life. I'm gonna tell the truth. Because at the end of the day, it's not on me. I'm not the judge, jury, or executioner. I'm not the final say, so I don't decide if you get to heaven or not.
I like what you said, that you're not gonna put yourself in a situation to where that you don't need to be in. Like for I feel like that's kind of one of the best advice you could give those people that's kind of like hesitant about coming to know Christ, is that, you know what, the battle is tough, but you don't have to put yourself in every fight. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I go to school. I know where they're gonna be fighting at. I know if I go over there, it's gonna be an automatic fight. But every day I'm gonna go to school, and I'm gonna tell myself, you know what? I'm gonna see if I got stronger today. I'm gonna go over there and fight again. And then the next day I fight again. Just keep putting myself in those battles when I don't have to. And I feel like that's when you mature in your relationship with Christ and you come to know him, you start to realize that that discernment piece is huge, because it's like, man, I'm thinking back right now, before I knew who Christ was, situations I put myself in, and I kept putting myself in them. And I'm like, dude, I could have literally not ever went back to that situation. I could have never went back to it. I could have did it once and didn't like it and said, man, that sucked. And then never went back to it. But because, when I feel like when you of the world, that whole they're not like us, like when you're not a Christian, when you don't know Christ, you don't know any better. Like it's just kind of like the blind leading the blind. I'm gonna keep jumping in here, keep jumping, and eventually my skin is gonna get tough enough where I'm gonna beat this, but your skin gonna always, your skin gonna always get bruises, bumps, and it's gonna always happen. Will it heal for you to get back up there and fight? Hopefully, most of the time, but it's still gonna be that same thing. Anthony, you was about to say something.
Sin doesn't satisfy. And for anyone who is sort of Christian adjacent, you're a Christian, religious familiar, to where you're kind of thinking, all right, maybe there's something to this. I challenge you. Is what you're doing really satisfying you? Now, in the moment, yeah, of course, sin, woo. But then what? And we see again and again that sin is never satisfying. This whole not like us, if you really want to get into it, what's the accusation? Kendrick Lamar is basically saying Drake, some of these other people, they into some crazy stuff. Now, when you are of a mindset that it's okay to do drugs, to have all the sex, to have all the money, to have all the fame, why are these people still so miserable? Like, if you got the money, if you've got cars, if you've got, popularity, why do you want to take drugs to escape that reality? Like, it makes sense for the homeless people, for people who are in chronic pain. They should be doing drugs. They should be getting drunk because their reality is terrible. So let's try and escape that reality and go somewhere else. Well, you got all you young, healthy, and you can fly around the world. Why are you trying to escape that reality? Because there's still no satisfaction. And so whether it be premarital sex, extramarital sex, drugs, just chasing money and materialism, it doesn't satisfy. And what you see again and again with people who have all these things, they go crazy. They're miserable. They're in rehab, high suicide rates, and the sin grows. It's like, okay, I'm gonna say it, bro. You got at least this one dude. All right, here we go. Let's get into it. All right, all this stuff.
Do it, baby.
All the stuff you see in the news with Diddy.
I know it was coming.
It's coming. It's got to, right? Listen, all the stuff that he is being accused of is heinous. It's
Yes.
evil. Listen, this
Yeah.
dude is one of the most famous guys in the world. If he say, hey, I want to have however many, people go out on a date, spend some time, they would be willing. But the things that he's being accused of, I don't know if he's guilty or not. If he's guilty, I hope he's convicted. If he's not, I hope he's acquitted. But the things that he's being accused of are just excessive. You're like,
Yeah.
why,
Yeah.
why, why couldn't you just chill back when everything was legal? It's not moral. It's not even close to what God said, but you weren't even satisfied with that. You got to keep on going. You got to keep on going. And that's sin. And so for anybody who's listening, if your sinful life, and by that I mean you're just doing you. If that's working for you, keep doing it. Now you're not going to get to heaven, but keep doing it. But it's not working. And you know it's not working.
So I'm glad I knew one of you guys was gonna bring up Diddy. Yo,
He did it before I could get there.
Hey, so since we went down that road, let's go ahead and go there. All right. So when we think about celebrities, it seems like everybody always has the mind frame, and they're always saying things like, if I had a little bit more, if God gave me, even Christians, if God gave me a little bit more, I would be fine financially, a car, house, whatever. If he just gave me a little bit more, I wouldn't be in the situation, right? But Anthony, you brought up these people, they have all the money, they can get any girl, they can get anything they want, and they still are not happy. Suicide rates through the roof, drugs, all this other stuff. They're emotional, they're suicidal. But in the Bible, we talk about Solomon, right?
Yeah.
Ecclesiastes. We just talked about this today at church. Solomon was a man that is your modern day Diddy, Jay-Z. Think about it. Any of these guys that get everything that they want, live this lifestyle, can do anything they want to do. And guess what? Even in Solomon, that just goes to show you how the Bible is like perfect. It's like timeless. Like it still holds up. Even with Solomon way back then, nothing that he got in the physical world, after he got all the money, the women, the status, everything, nothing in his life mattered. And he still was empty after all that. It's still going to be the same thing. Now, you got these celebrities, you got people that don't know Christ wondering, how can a celebrity be in that situation? How can they be stressed out? Like, how can they have worries? How can they have doubt? How can they not have a successful marriage? And I'm sitting back looking like, you saying all this is because they got money? Dude, I ain't got that much money and I had a problems. imagine if I'm thinking to myself, hey, it makes sense to me. If I had more money, I would have more problems. No pun on the Diddy song. More money, more problems.
Wait, we got to be careful. Be careful with that. We got to be careful.
Answer.
No pun on that just kind of played out. I ain't mean to do that though. No play on the words. But no, seriously though, like when we say they're not like us, yes, that's Kendrick Lamar telling Drake, look, we ain't alike. No, we are not like other people when we're a Christian. When you follow Christ, we are not supposed to be. It's not cockiness, it's not arrogance, it's not any of that. It's not that I'm better than you. I'm telling you that I serve a God that is almighty, all-knowing. And I'm telling you that if you want to be like this, you got to give up that. Is that simple? If you want to be like this, you got to give up that. And unfortunately, like Anthony and JD are saying, that sin piece and that piece that we don't want to give up and make those adjustments for that temporary feeling or gain fulfillment means everything, because we don't know anything different. You know what I'm saying? We don't know anything different.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said something that really you said if I just get a little bit more, then this will be better, right? And that's actually the furthest thing from the truth, right? And the reason the reason being though, if you're asking for more with the hopes of something getting better, that means you're not appreciating what you have already.
That part.
Right? If you don't know how to nurture what you currently are blessed with, if you don't know how to nurture and foster these relationships, get close to God, whatever you may have, how dare you ask for more?
Mm.
Why would you be blessed with more? Or why would you be given more if you're not taking care of the blessings I've given you in your face 5, 10 years already?
Mm.
What is if you can't manage $100, how are you gonna manage $1 million?
There we go. There
Like
we go.
I'm just saying,
Hey,
like and it's simple to me now, obviously, and I don't want to come off as a jerk or whatever the case is, but it's like, look, stop asking for what you're not ready for, right?
mm,
Those celebrities you talk about, right? I'm sure they ask for, I want the millions, I want the this, I want the that. To Anthony's point, why are you escaping that reality that you asked for, other than the fact that you wasn't ready for it, other than the
mhm,
fact that you obtained that reality on measures and basis that weren't aligned with Christ in the first place.
mm,
Because again, to Anthony's point, sin is not fulfilled.
mm.
You're not gonna be full. So I'm gonna drop Mike on that one. That's it. I'm gonna drop
Man,
Mike.
dude. Hey, listen, y'all. Hey, make sure if y'all viewing, like I said on YouTube, make sure you guys hit that like button because the thing is that none of this is new. Let's be real. None of this is new. Um, maybe you're 13, 14, and some of this stuff is like, you're like, oh, who's Solomon or something like that. You've never heard of some of these stories or something. But outside of the fact of we're talking about people that we're talking about celebrities. Like everybody knows these people. The only people that don't know what's going on with Diddy is probably somebody that's under a rock right now. So we know the situation, we know the status. Even if you never listened to his music, you know who he is because of what he has done.
Yeah.
And look at that piece. What he has done. This man, I don't know if it was Anthony or JD, but one of you guys said something that stuck with me. This man wasn't fulfilled with what he was doing and kept doing, it got worse. You know what I'm saying? It escalated. What he was doing started to be, like I said, I don't know the truth to what was happening, but the allegations and accusations are horrific. It started small, and let me see what I can get away with even more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. So what I'm saying is that you got two choices. Let's call it what it is. You got two choices. You can continue to foster and build on the lifestyle that you're living for yourself in of this world and let that grow and turn into something bigger. Or you can say, you know what? I want to live for Christ. And I'm gonna build on that. And I'm gonna let that foster and build up. And I'm gonna see what Christ has in store for me. And my conscience is gonna be clear. And when I go through these trials and tribulations, I'm gonna have a sense of peace because you know what? I know that I'm living my life for him and he got me. You know what I'm saying? Like I know that this is aligns with this will. So when we say they're not like us and we are Christian, which Lecrae sung, I don't know if y'all heard Lecrae sung to Kendrick Lamar's remix to the Black Air Force Ones, but Lecrae got one to White Air Force Ones. Oh my goodness, dude, it's a dope song. I'm gonna have to send y'all the link.
Yeah.
But
Say that right quick.
he talks about in that song about how he was and now who he is, and he's saying like things like sins of his life, like things that he done. You're not ever gonna be able to talk about those things until you completely get away from those things. We don't talk about the things that we're embarrassed of. We don't talk about the sins, even though they fulfill and make us feel good. They make us feel good. We don't talk about those because we're embarrassed of things that make us feel good. Make that make sense. We're embarrassed of something that gives us pleasure and makes us feel good. Like, why are you embarrassed? Wouldn't you want to be able to shout to the moons about something that you proud about and make you feel good if you do it the right way? Let's
But you're
let's talk about
embarrassed
that.
because you know it's wrong.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the whole thing. And that's why you will see so many of these people who can be blackmailed. That was part of the accusation. Hey, you know what? This stuff got filmed, and now I'm going to use this as leverage to make you do more stuff. Well,
Mm,
You're not proud of that because it's embarrassing. You know it's wrong. You know it's not acceptable, even in a community of people where they just make up their own rules. And so with this stuff that we see, it's like, no, they're not satisfied. And I think about it like this. It's like drinking seawater. Seawater. If you are thirsty, you think, okay, I'm going to drink salt. I'm going to drink water right out of the ocean. And for anybody who has not had any understanding of the way this works, that's going to kill you because that seawater will dehydrate you and you'll drink some and you'll be thirstier. And so you'll drink more, but you only become thirstier and eventually it will kill you. And that's what sin does. It starts out small, but then it's like, okay, look, just this horrible, heinous stuff, all the stuff with Epstein, all these other people who've been accused of this stuff. It's like, look, you had adults who were willing to do whatever, but you weren't satisfied with that. You had to go mess with kids and people who aren't willing, and it just continues to grow. So there's a thirst, and you try and fill it with the wrong thing. Only God will satisfy. Only God will complete who we are, and there is a shame associated with it.
Yeah. And then to extend it a little bit more. So we're talking about Diddy, we talk about Epstein, we're talking about these people that have these sins that's displayed right now. They're out in the open for everybody to do what with them? Make a judgment, right?
Mhm.
Now we're, oh, I can't believe this person. They're the trending thing on social media. Everybody got a comment, all that stuff. When we say they not like us, we have to be careful what we respond and what we say about those people, because our job is to pray for those people. Everything that I know about Diddy, you know what I did last night? I prayed for him. I had a conversation with somebody at work and they were gun-ho about, you know what? Yep, death penalty. End of discussion. Death penalty. And I'm like, they asked me, and I said, that's not my place. I'm not the one to do that. But what I'm going to do is I'm gonna pray for him. Like that's what I'm called to do. And I'm gonna pray, and I'm gonna hope that he turns his life to Christ. And even after everything he done, if he gave his life to Christ and he's forgiven for what he's done, then it's not my place to say that's not fair. But that's that peace. That's that piece of being a Christian. And that's why some people don't like that. Oh, they not like us because I can't forgive like you forgive. Okay, but you want to be forgiven. Oh,
Right.
I can't be seen with them. I can't do that. That's for y'all to do. But you want somebody to be seen with your raggedy tail. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like come on. Like this is what we do as people that are so far away from Christ. And you know what? Even some people that know Christ, that we need to hear this. We need to be reminded that we are not so set apart from those people that's of the world, that we got to forget that God forgives us because we still sin and fall short. And if you knew some of the things that I done as a Christian man, you might be like, I don't want to be around him neither, but I'm gonna want that grace. I'm gonna want that mercy. I'm gonna want you to forgive me and accept me for what I've done. And I think that's the piece that a lot of people are scared of when they think about um becoming a Christian and being in that category where they're set apart and they're different, is because I'm not a forgiving person. And you hurt me, it is what it is. You're dead to me. Like that's it. And that's a tough piece to do, especially depending on what somebody has done to hurt you. So
Yeah, man. The man should have stopped. It's crazy. You should have stopped at one bottle, not 1,000.
Yeah, right.
yep,
Should have stopped at one bottle. But that's the overindulgence of sin. It's like,
yep,
and it's too, Jeremy, you just kind of mentioned it too, to a degree. I just thought of an analogy, and it's basically people are trying to fill a bucket with holes in the bottom, right? You're trying to
yeah,
fill a bucket with water, but you already got holes in the bottom. And until you patch up those holes, that bucket isn't going to be full. Now, the thing is, though, one thing is of importance, I think, is that sometimes it takes drastic things to happen to draw people to Christ,
yep,
right? Sometimes it takes very drastic things to happen. to the point where you don't have no other choice but to submit, right? And this may be that situation for him. You know what I'm saying? This may be that situation for somebody that go to church. This may be that situation that somebody you work with, you know? So it's very important, like kind of the Anthony's point too, don't cast judgment, you know, if you guilty, sentence him. If you're not, acquit him. Like, it's not on me to do that, but at the same time, sometimes it does take people to be found guilty to kind of convert and start living like the right way and not their way.
Yeah.
So it's all a matter of perspective at the end of the day.
And that's the piece of understanding that when we, you know, I feel like one of the things that we toss around is, Lord, your will be done. We say that a lot, you know, your will be done. But when his will doesn't align with my will, I'm like, all right, what's up? This can't be a part of what you have for me. But like you said, JD, sometimes it take things drastic. And I'm thinking about the drastic things that had to happen in my life, in my spiritual walk, for me to wake up and realize. And I'm thinking right now of those things. And I'm like, dang, Jeremy, you dummy. Why did it take that? Like, it shouldn't, you know what I'm saying? Like when you look back on it, you'd be like, it shouldn't have had to take that. Like, I knew, like, why did I have to go through that? You know? But if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. I wouldn't have the wisdom that I have today. I wouldn't have the testimony that I have today. And those trials and tribulations that we go through, those life lessons that we learn, especially the devastations in life, God used to his glory. And praise be to him that he does that. He's the only God that can use a terrible situation and turn it into something good. Like you got people, you got people that you know that be like, yeah, you can bring your car to me, I can make it look brand new again. And then you get it back, you get all this money, get it detailed and clean, and you get it back, and you like, bruh, it's still dirt all in my car on the floor. I couldn't get those out, couldn't get those things out. They permanent. I'm like, bro, the only person that can take your dirtiness and your mistakes and make it brand new again is God. Try to find somebody else to do it. You're gonna be searching your whole life. You feel what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things. But I do love what you guys are saying. I think that as we wrap up here, we've been on here for 30 minutes, but as we wrap up here, I kind of want to wrap up each time with just something like some closing things, something that we could say to people that would encourage them, and stuff like that, based around the fact of kind of the concept of what we were talking about. So I'll start it off. So I'm gonna speak to you guys in the mind frame of this when I didn't believe in God, but I was curious about him. Something that somebody told me that has always stuck with me in my walk. And one of the biggest fears for me to take that jump into being a Christian and committed to being a Christian, because I had a potty mouth. Like I swore, like I felt like it was the coolest thing to do. Like I feel like it made me feel like a man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this is you talking about 6th, 7th grader that every other word, and I had to say the aggressive ones. You know, it's levels to cussing. I was on that tier. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was on that. I was up there. I was with the best of them, you know. And but somebody said something to me one time. They were like, it was the elder at my church. And he said to me that we are don't stop putting yourself in situations that you always are going to resort back to doing the normal things that you're used to doing. In other words, start putting yourself in situations where it's a different environment and you are challenged and you have to do something different. He was telling me that in the basis of me to try to help me to stop swearing, try to help me to stop doing what I was doing. So he wanted me to stop being around the people that accepted and applauded me for swearing. And he wanted me to be around older people from the church. I ain't gonna do that in front of them. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, if you spend more time around that, you start getting those habits. And then when you start getting around those other people, you start feeling like that word come out your mouth, you start feeling like that didn't sound right. You start hearing what you're saying. So my encouragement to anybody that's watching that's on the fence about making a lifestyle change, or you having a hard time making a lifestyle change as far as like sin, put yourself in situations where it's a different environment. Whatever it is that you're struggling with, that it's not, you're not capable to struggle in that situation, or you're gonna be embarrassed to do it, or somebody's gonna call you out and hold you accountable for doing it. Put yourself in those situations more, and watch how God starts to open up doors and avenues for you, even if you don't believe in who Christ is. But watch how He opens up doors and start to get your conscience to say, you know what, maybe I shouldn't do that even around those other people. So I hope that's an encouragement for you guys. And I hope that if you are on the fence, that you jump on over that fence, man, and come to know who Christ is. Like, don't wait. Don't wait. Anthony, I'm gonna let you go next, man. Then we'll let JD finish.
All right. So we are different because of Christ. There's nothing better about a Christian than a non-Christian. It's only Christ, and it's always Christ. So I need Jesus as much today as I did when I got saved 30 plus years ago. I'm just as reliant. You take Jesus away, I'm gonna be a horrible, despicable, evil person. I'm not exaggerating. It's the same thing with you. Anybody who does not have Christ versus someone who does have Christ, the Christian is not a smarter, more deserving person. That's not it at all. We have a God who loves each and every one of us, who gives opportunity for each and every one of us to come to know him. When you put your trust in him, he does all the work. Your only job is to not fight against him, to submit, to obey. That is it. You have not achieved some higher level of consciousness. None of that. All Jesus, all the time.
Amen to that, boy. JD,
Wow.
bring us home, man. Bring us
No,
home,
well,
man.
hey, no pressure whatsoever.
You got it.
LeBron
No.
James.
You got it.
Kobe. Nah, but
Kobe.
to just add, I guess you could say a cherry on top to what you guys have said without repeating, because it was all well said. Intentional, right? You gotta be intentional in your every single day-to-day life. Every minute, every hour, every second, every day. You have to be intentional with what you're doing. Because by you being intentional, to circle back to some of the things that were mentioned earlier, by you being intentional, you're going to start to appreciate what's happening in your life, right? Instead of you having 5 holes in the bottom of that bucket, now you got 4, because you're able to recognize the blessings that you have, right? Now the water stops leaking a little bit more. Now, a month later, a blessing comes. Now you got 3 holes covered. Whew, life getting a little better, right? But by you being intentional in your walk, by you being intentional in the settings you put yourself in, by you being intentional in the music you listen to, being intentional in the people that you talk to and associate with, your life is going to change. You are going to get blessed. It is a lonely walk. It's lonely. It's not for the faint of heart. It's not for the weak. I don't associate with too many people nowadays. I know a lot of people. I don't associate with too many people. And that's just because my walk, my faith, my intentionality in living an upright and Christ-centered life, it don't align with theirs. Love them and wish them the best. But when I started being intentional with the path that I was walking, it got lonely. But at the end of the day, I realized I got all the comfort I needed. Met Anthony at a game night, and it's like, man, I feel like I've known you. Like we're the LeBron and D Wade of Taboo, right? We the LeBron and D Wade of Taboo off one night.
Yes, sir.
Jeremy became a brother out of just like nowhere. He like legitimate just hit it off, boom, to the stars. But all of that came with being intentional and just being in the right setting, if you will, right? And just fostering those relationships, fostering those blessings. So, that's all I have to add, really, to that. Just be intentional every day.
Man, I appreciate it, you guys. Man, I hope everything that you guys have heard tonight is an encouragement. Remember, hit that like button if you're on YouTube. Make sure you're following us on Spotify. I think we're on Apple. Everything, all the podcast platforms will be up there. So make sure you guys check that out. This week, man, just be intentional. I like that word. Go out there, be intentional. Even if it's just one thing, choose one thing that you don't overdo it. Choose one thing that you need to focus on this week and be intentional. But I'm gonna encourage you guys to give it to God. Pray about it. Pray hard about it. Anytime you think about it, just stop and pray. We don't have to stop physically doing anything. We could be throwing boxes. We still can talk to our Heavenly Father. So utilize that tool and pray to Him. Our prayer for you guys is that as you walk away from this podcast and you're closing it out, that you are taking the time and these words that's being said, it's penetrating your heart, your soul, and your mind, and it's going to cause change and cause you to know who Christ is. So with all that being said, we appreciate you. Make sure you guys check out the other podcasts. It's already live now in the videos. We will be back, I'm pretty sure, here pretty soon with some more topics for you guys. JD, Anthony, I greatly appreciate it. Love you guys, and I hope you guys have a blessed night. But y'all already know what I'm saying, man. Rock what you like, not what's hype. And remember, everything we talk about, just bait. Wait for me to shove my face. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video or podcast. Peace.